do. I almost wore a jacket this morning. It's weather, y'all. Did I say that right? Okay, good. It's too right. You did that too good. I'm going to just stay home and cuddle up with a book. The good book. I got jokes for days, y'all. Thank y'all for laughing. Go to 2 Kings chapter 5. Chapter 5. 2 Kings chapter 5. Before I get started this morning, let's do something cool this morning. Let me see here. Jacob, come here for a minute. You got here, Jacob. Come here. Let's see. I need another youth. Give me one more youth. Malachi, come up here. I need one more youth. Cannon, you're over there. I see you on that side. Alright, so what I want you to do is you stand right here. Out the way. Face them. You stand right here, down on the floor. Down on the floor. There you go. This is my stage. Get off of it. You're right here. Alright. Do y'all feel pretty good this morning? Yes. Do y'all feel like y'all deserve anything this morning? No. Don't look at me, look at them. They want you. Do y'all feel like y'all deserve anything this morning?
No. I'm very scared.
Good. Good. I like that we got the spotlights on this morning. Alright. So, y'all feel like y'all deserve it. What if I went over to Camden and I said, Camden, here's you $10. And that was it. How do y'all feel now? Huh? Ken, how you feel? You feel pretty good this morning about that? I mean, you didn't do anything to get that $10, did you? But you got $10 this morning. I mean, you got to give it back to me eventually because I'm poor, right? But you got $10, so you feel good right now, right? You're on top of the world. You got $10. All right, what if I went over here to Malachi? I said, Malachi, here. Here's your $10. No, you take it back. So how much did you get right there? You got 20. Did you do anything to get that 20? You did nothing, did you?
Except shaking.
Camden, how you feel now? Huh? This kid's got a good perspective. Y'all know that kid right here. Or do you feel less because he got 20 though? Are you jealous of Malachi at all? He got 20 though. But what did he do more than you to get the 20? Nothing. But he got 20, didn't he? And you got the 10. You still happy though with it? Jacob, how short do you feel today? I ain't got no more money. Sorry. You feel left out here?
It's okay.
It's okay? What keeping you going now? Why are you just not so bummed out?
Doesn't really matter, I guess.
Doesn't really matter. But you still, but you ain't mad at them, right? Like you don't look at them and go, man, Malachi, as soon as you turn your back, I'm knocking you out and taking your 20. I'm bigger than you, I can take that. So you feeling good though? So you're not mad at nobody? Now, why is it that we don't live life like that though? Now, normally, if we know life because we talked about this last week, social media's got everybody's life for everybody. Normally in life, this is how life goes and this is how we see it. You look at somebody and you look at, before Malachi had his 20 and before Jacob, he's still got nothing, but we love him. But before that, you look over there at Cannon and Cannon's just living the life. Cannon got $10 for nothing. He didn't do nothing. He deserved that. Man, Jacob's over here going, man, I conducted the band Friday night. I had it going live. Did you have it going live? Did you do a good job? Okay, you're right. You really deserve that money, but I didn't give you that anyway. But he's like, did all this out there. Cannon didn't do that. He didn't recommend. Why did he get $10? He didn't deserve it. Malachi said to me, going, man, I have social anxiety, Like, I definitely need some money just for standing up here in front of all these people like me. Come here, real quick. I got you, boo-boo. It's okay. He go, I don't know why he got $10. He's up here just like me. I'm shaking. He's probably thinking, I am facing a fear. Should have got that 10. But then Malachi got 20. Malachi starts going, ooh, look at this. I got 20. This is worth it now, wasn't it? Yes. That's it. You keep it. I want my Boston butt though. So he says, I worked the deal, didn't I? So, okay, that's fine. He said, I got my 20 here. I'm doing good now, man. Look at life. Life is better now. I'm blessed. I got this stuff. I'm doing good. And then what happens over here? He's sitting here going, now look at this. Cameron's got 10. He's got 20. I still ain't got nothing. And then what happens with Cameron over here? It seeps in. And Cameron's going, man, what did I do that I didn't get 20? Did I not be nice enough to Saul? I should have been shaking more. That's what I should have been doing. You should have been in the middle. That's what you should have done, right? They'll teach you to be on the first one. But don't you see how our perspective shifts so much in life like this? I mean, I know this is kids and I'm being goofy and that, but this is literally how we see life a lot of times. We look around and he's got 10. He's going, man, I got 10. And I didn't do anything to deserve. I don't deserve this 10. I don't deserve this. But then something comes along and something happens, something better to somebody else, and all of a sudden then we go, this 10's not good enough anymore. Because if they wouldn't have got 10 and he'd have been handed 10, he'd have been like, life is good. But then we start looking over here and we start going, maybe it's not as good as what I think it is. And then I think about the ones that's way over here on this side, and I still love you. And he goes, man, I ain't got nothing. But can I tell you something? This can be the best perspective when we put it in God. You're my favorite, okay? And you. I just take that on my money. I do, but I need it for lunch. Okay. I want to talk about perspective this morning. Y'all can sit down. Y'all can keep the money. Y'all are good. Y'all give him a 10. Oh, he can get back to me. Y'all are good kids. Look at that. Y'all have got good perspectives. Thank you. My kids can eat today. That was their lunch money for the week. Perspectives change, don't they? And it seems like our perspectives change with how our lives change. I want you to look here in 2 Kings chapter 5. Now I want y'all to know I don't have a voice this morning. You can't hear this. I'm normally not this low, deep, and raspy and sound so cool, but my voice might start to go away and crack every once in a while. Don't laugh at it. If it cracks or does something funny. I've had the hiccups, I feel like, for 3 days straight. I've had the hiccups for 3 days straight. I had not had the hiccups since I was 12 years old, y'all. But for whatever reason, I got the hiccups the other day, and I thought, what if we finally go away? Then I had a rehearsal Friday night. Then I had a wedding Saturday night. Saturday about lunchtime, I thought, surely these things are going to go away by this lunchtime. It is not. It did not go away. I was so scared to get on there and going, dearly beloved, we're gathered here. It didn't happen, though. So my voice sounds funny. I apologize for that this morning. I won't get through it, though. But I got a message this morning that is dear to my heart, and it's one that I feel like we need to take to heart, that I feel like it can really help us in maybe how we see the world and how we view it. So let's go to these verses. Now Nahum, captain of the armies and the king of Aram, was a great man with the master and highly respected because by him the Lord had given victory to Aram. The man was also a valiant warrior, but he was a leper. Now the Arameans had gone out in bands and taken captive a little girl from the land of Israel, and she waited on Nahum's wife. And she said to her mistress, I wish that my master was with the prophet from Samaria. Then he would cure him of all of his leprosy. So you got Nahum, who is this valiant warrior. He is a valiant warrior. Anytime they use valiant warrior, a lot of times it was meant not only was he a great warrior, like a powerful warrior, but he was also like a warrior of God. It says he won many battles because the Lord was on his side. So this was a pretty good guy. He's a good man. He was a strong man, but he was also a leper. He was a leper. Anytime he had leprosy, they would cast it out and kind of, thought less of. But it must have been because he was such a great warrior that they still associated with him and all these other stuff. Well, when the Arameans went into Israel, they had kidnapped this little girl. They had kidnapped a girl from Israel. They brought her back, and she was serving under Nahum and him, and being, must have been pretty well thought of. Or she must have thought a lot of them, because she said, you know what? I wish that you could go and visit the prophet, because I think he could really help my master. I really think he could do a lot for you. And so what they do is they listen to her, they hear her out, and they say, okay. And Nahum went and took it to his master and says, thus this girl spoke to us in Israel, and the king of Aram said, go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. He departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 shekels of gold and 10 changes of clothes. And he brought him a letter to the king and the king of Israel, saying, now, as this letter comes to you, behold, I have sent you Nahum, my servant, to you, that you may cure him of his leprosy. And when the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes, and he said, I am God to kill and to make alive, that this man is sending word to me to cure a man who has leprosy, but consider now to see how he is seeking a quarrel against me. Now, when somebody tore their clothes, this would have been like a good sign of like stress, grief. They'd have been kind of like, I don't know how to handle this. That's what it was to be anyway. I imagine the king just going like, I'm overwhelmed. I can't handle this. I don't know why we don't do that anymore. Would that not be so cool if you were getting on to somebody at work, or like somebody freaked out, all of a sudden they just went, I can't handle it. That's their response to handling stress, is to rip whatever they're wearing. I don't know. It just World's funny. So anyway, so he freaks out. The king has been brought by this other king to ask to say, hey, I need you to cure my servant. I need you to cure his leprosy. And the king says, I can't do that. Am I God? To cure and bring to life, to fix, to not fix. And at that time, there was some hostility between these two kingdoms that they could have been attacks at any time. There could have been war that would have been broke out. And so when the king freaked out, the reason he freaked out is he said, if I don't do this, this could bring a great war about us. This could bring some battles between us and this other kingdom. He's freaking out. He's going, this is just something to set me up. That if I don't come through for this, that everything's going to end. So he's laying there, he's kind of freaking out, he's messed up, and this is where Elisha happens. And it says in verse 8, it happened when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, that he had sent word to the king, saying, why have you torn your clothes? Now let him come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. Where did the little girl say go? Do you remember the little girl? Where did the little girl say go? Go to the prophet. Remember that? Go to the prophet. You need to go see the prophet. He's the one that can help. Where did they go? The king. They went and seen the king. They go, let's go see the king instead. This is the start of how we see things. This girl was a little girl. I'm sure she's like Adelaide, who talks incessantly and doesn't know when to be quiet and probably says just the most random stuff. And literally sometimes she talks and I go, good girl. You listen, but after about the 500th word, I mean, come on, it's kind of like she's saying the same thing. And I'm sure that's what I heard the girl was saying, hey, if you go see this prophet, he'll be able to hear you. What they heard, hey, somebody in Israel will be able to help you. And so what they assumed was, well, if anybody can fix this, it's got to be top dog of Israel. Like it's got to be the king. It's not going to be a prophet. It's not going to be somebody below him. If somebody can, if you think about it, if somebody had the ability to wipe out leprosy, if somebody has the ability to bring about a healing, to bring about power, would you not think it would be the top guy? And so that's what they thought. They said, well, we'll send a letter to the king. Not only will we send a letter to the king, we'll send money and I'll send all this stuff to where we'll pay him for it. Like there'll be no way they can turn us away. We'll send money to him. We'll pay for this. We'll get it done because this is, we're going to do it our way. And my way is that we're going to go to the top of it. Don't pay for it where they can't. I'm sure he thought if we do this to the king, he can't turn us away. He knows who we are. He'll pay him for it. There's no way he can turn us away. They went to the wrong source. And then when they get to the wrong source, they respond. If I'm Nahum now, I want you to picture Nahum here. If I'm Nahum, I've got leprosy. You're an outcast. You're hoping for a healing. You go to the king. You bring all this money. You bring this stuff. You're going, all right, I'm going to get healed. I can be back in that higher status now. I can be back in that place that I was. I can be back at that warrior that I've been known for instead of being known as a leper. Because that's what we've been known for, is a leper now, not the valiant warrior anymore. The perception on him had changed. People probably saw him at first when he was healthy. They saw the valiant warrior Nahum. It listed it out at the beginning. It says a valiant warrior, a servant of God, won so many battles. But you see what it ended with? It's like the last thing that somebody says about you. Isn't that what you know they really think about you? And what they say, it says, but he was a leper. He was a great warrior. He's also a leper. Their perspective on Nahum had changed. And they now had known that he wasn't that great warrior anymore. He was that leper now. And he goes and he sees this king, and he goes and sees the king. He's probably frustrated, being like, man, now I'm known as a leper, not known as this. And then he goes to the king. He's probably excited. He's hoping to get his world changed again, hoping to get that perspective changed on him, going, man, I want to get healed. I want to be back to that status that I was at. My life will be back in the perspective that I want it to be, back in the way that I know it needs to be, and everybody's going to see me the way I want them to see me. And he gets there, and imagine, he goes to the king and goes, hey, we heard that you got somebody, I heard you can cure leprosy. Here's money. Here's this. Cure me. And the king goes, I can't do it. He just rips it off. Imagine Nahum at this point is like, what the heck? Did this girl lie to me? Were they just telling me, so were they just giving me false hope? Was they just telling me that something good could come of this? Were they just telling me that this bad situation was going to come to good, but it didn't really come to good? He's probably bummed out. He's probably getting more frustrated. I've traveled over here to a neighboring country that I've invaded time again, and now I'm coming here to home myself and try to get some help, and this is how it's going to go? And Elisha hears about it. And Elisha says, I don't know why you tore your clothes, king. You know that you could send him to me. I don't know why you're panicking. I don't know why you're stressing about this. Send him my way. And so this is what happens. He sends him over there. This is verse 9. And so Nahum come with his horses and his chariots, and he stood at the doorway of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh will be restored, and to you, and you will be clean. Now, Elisha didn't even meet with him. What he actually did was he sent a letter to him. Now, I don't know if that's because he had leprosy or whatever it was. I don't know if he didn't want him to come near his house or do whatever. But what he did is just send a letter out to him. He said, go send a letter to him. So he didn't get to meet Elisha, you know. Elisha didn't even come out. He just sent a letter to him. So he sent a letter out, and Nahum gets this letter, and all it says is, go to the Jordan and wash 7 times in the Jordan, and you will be clean. Now, I want you to think about this. Do you know how many times that Nahum probably went and washed and tried to wash off the leprosy? You know how many baths that this dude probably took? You know how many times he's been trying to wash, to get clean, to do everything that he can? He was a valiant warrior. He was a highly respected man. Probably had plenty of money. He had, had all kinds of different things. It wasn't like he was poor and couldn't do all these different stuff. He was a guy that was probably had all the things you could do to take a bath. I want you to imagine that you're sick and you've tried everything, and somebody just sends you a letter and they just said, hey, just take 7 baths and you'll be fine. Nahum didn't want to hear that. Nahum didn't want to hear that. He didn't like that response. He didn't like what he had heard. He didn't like how that went down. This is what he says. In verse 11 he says, but Nahum was furious. Furious. Nahum was furious. He went away and said, behold, I thought he would surely, in the name of God, come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord and wave his hand over the place and cure the leprosy. Did y'all hear that? He says he was furious. He got told in the letter, this will cure your leprosy. What he said, he goes, I'm furious, I'm mad, because what I thought should have happened, what I perceived should have happened, was that this man of God should have come and stood before me and went, leprosy be gone. That's what he thought. That's what he's mad about. He's mad because he didn't get his cure the way that he wanted it. He actually says, he starts making fun of the way that he's going to do it. He said, I thought he'd come over here and wave his hand and cure the leprosy. In verse 12, are not this river and this river cleaner of those of the Damascus? Are they not cleaner than the ones of Jordan? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in rage. He was mad. He said, that's not even the cleanest river. Why would I go to a dirty river? Does he not know that these waters and these waters are clear? And he just went, forget this, I'm done. Enraged by this. This was the answer he was looking for. This is what he needed. He wanted his leprosy cleared. He told him, if you go do this, you'll be clean. But he says, it's not the way I want to be clean though. It's not the way that I want to be. That's the dirtier river over there. That's the dirtier river. That's the Jordan. People will see me go down in there and going, he's looking for more leprosy. Our perception in life is so distorted that a lot of us are like Nahum. We go to God and we look for answers. We go to God and we pray for things. We go to God and we say, God, I need this in my life. And I think sometimes God sets a way. God sets a direction. And God goes, you got to go through the Jordan. You need to go down the Jordan and wash 7 times and you'll accomplish this goal. And what we see is we go, that's the dirtier river. That's the worst way to go, God. God's going, you're still getting clean. I'm giving you exactly what you want. I'm giving your goal. I'm going to accomplish what you want. I'm going to accomplish the will that I want. I'm going to get this done. Who cares if it's through that river, even if it's dirtier, or if it's through the cleaner river? The end result is the same, is it not? Then why is it that we have such a hard time in life accepting what river we go to? Why is it? And I think honestly, and I know I think I'm wrong a lot. But I think so much it comes down to financial reasons. I think our perspectives are so much based on finances in life. God, I want to accomplish this goal. And financially, I need it now and in this time frame. And if it doesn't happen, we all of a sudden are frustrated by God. God, nope, it's not it, God. I needed $2,000. You only gave me $200. And God goes, hey, I gave you what you needed right now. I gave you what you needed. I know what you want. I know what your heart's desire, but I gave you what you needed. And I think what happens is I don't think we really understand this fact. Do we deserve anything? Let me just step back. Has Nahum done anything to deserve to be cleaned of his leprosy? Nothing. I mean, I'm just going to be real with you. If I was Elijah here and I heard Nahum being outraged and by me going, hey man, go to the Jordan and wash 7 times and your leprosy would be clean. If he stood to me and he said, no way, I want you to come out here and wave your hand over me and me just be clean, I went, ooh, don't heal it, God. Don't do it. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, how childish to be unsatisfied even when you get what you want. What did we do to deserve it? I think about it all the time. If God gives me 10, did I really deserve that 10? If God gives me 100, did I really deserve that 100? And you can say, I worked hard for my money. Who gave you the hands and feet? Who gave you the mind to learn the knowledge to do the job that you're doing? But what if God took it away? What if something happened and you lost that? Do you still deserve that same deal? Man, are we a little bit too self-entitled? I mean, how self-entitled here does Nahum look? How self-entitled do you think Nahum is to the point where he says, I'm furious, and he went away enraged when he heard the answer that he wanted? How entitled are you to say, I'm not going to the dirtier river of the Jordan, even though I'll get what I ultimately want. I want to go to the clean river. I want you to just wave your hand. I want it to be easy. Let me tell you something. Self-entitlement is going to destroy this world if you haven't seen it yet. There's too many of us that think we are just entitled. I deserve this. We deserve nothing. We don't. Apart from Christ and what He did on the cross, we deserve nothing. But we base life so much on monetary value. I think lifestyle value. We just put so much on everything. And this is what is you hear it nowadays more and more in young couples that I counsel. They'll say, you know what, we don't want to do this, that, or the other because, everybody else is here, but if we do this that we can afford or that we can do, that makes us look like we're here and we can't match up to that status. Why not enjoy this? Why not embrace this? Why not be satisfied and why not be blessed and go, God, thank you for just giving me these plywood floors to stand on. God, thank you and thank you and thank you for just blessing me with health. Thank you and thank you with blessing me with what I have. So let me tell you something that you'll start finding out. The people over here that might have less, but they've got the family, may be the ones over here that's got all the stuff, but their family's falling apart. And I can tell you this, if it come down to losing my family or losing anything monetarily or any kind of item here, I would gladly throw everything away if it meant I could be rich in this. Do you ever just stop and think how blessed we are to have healthy children, healthy family, healthy people in our life to go, God, thank you for giving me so many good years with good kids? Have you ever stopped to think and go, God, thank you for giving me 11 great years of marriage? Or do we only stop to thank God and go, God, thank you for that $11,000. I really needed that. What gets our attention more? Just being very, very real this morning. What gets our attention? Is it the blessings of the worldly things? Is it the blessings of when somebody, what would bless you more? If somebody just come and said, here's your keys to a brand new Jeep. Good luck with that. Or would it bless you more to have the love of family and the love of people and the love and relationship with God? for the rest of your life? What would you take more stock of? What would touch your soul? What would wake you up and go, that was a blessing. That was awesome. How good is God? I think it's the physical. I think it's the stuff that we look at. And I'm telling y'all, if we don't change our perspective, we are going to get crushed. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start as Christians now. I'm not talking to the lost. Because the lost is going to see things in the physical. If we as Christians don't see things in the spiritual, how are we ever going to show anybody else? Nahum was a good man. He won many battles, it says, for the Lord. How is it then that he goes to get the answer that he wanted from God, and yet he goes away in a fury? Listen to me. This is when you know your perspective is off. When life has always beat you down, if your perspective is always, day in and day out, is life's just not fair. Man, life is not fair. Come talk to me. Let me just share a few stories with you about what I've seen and what people have told me and tell you how fair life really is. It's not fair that people lose their health in their prime of life, is it? It's not fair that somebody might not be able to have the use of their hands anymore at a young age. It's not fair that a mother and a son or a mother and a daughter can't have a relationship because of whatever may be between them. It's not fair that husbands and wives leave each other. It's not fair that broken homes happen every day. It's not fair that so-and-so works hard and they took a bad investment and now they're broke. It's not fair that you work hard and you do what you're supposed to do, and yet sometimes you still don't have the money that you need. Life's just not fair. But can I tell you something? That's not where I get my perspective. I get my perspective on that stuff. Let me tell you something. If that's where my perspective comes, if that's where I start looking in the world and I start going, man, let me see how my life, let me take stock of it through all this stuff, then you're right. We're going to be a bunch of depressed people that think life is terrible and God is an unfair God. But if we're people that take stock of the Lord, then our perspective never changes. The song we sung right at the end, what did it say? You're a good, good Father. In Matthew, it says, if you ask anything of the Lord, if you ask it, you will receive. Knock, shall be open to you. All these different things. He says at the end of it, says good. He says, if your own son come to you and your son begged for a meal, would you give him poison? Would you do whatever? He says, no. You would give him what he needed, give him food. He said, how much more then will your Father provide for you? If you as a parent wouldn't send your son away or send your children away with what they don't need, and we're evil. He says, we're evil, and we would do that. We still would feel a need. He says, how much better is my heavenly Father? How much more is He going to provide the things that you need? If we see that, if we as evil people see that this is how you do it, you don't turn somebody away, He says, then how much more my heavenly Father, when He sees you in a true need, would He not give you what you need in that situation? Our perspectives need to change. Look, this is the best part of the story. He says, and you turn to walk away in rage, verse 13. I'm going to end it right here. Then his servants came near and spoke to him. Thank goodness he had some good servants around him. He says, my father, had the prophet told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be clean? He says, Dad, like, if they told you to do some great thing, like you just said, to get your leprosy clean, would you not have done it? I mean, the guy just said, wash and be clean. Is that not what you want to hear? In verse 14, he says, so he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God, and his flesh was restored like the flesh, I love this, like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Didn't just restore his flesh to like old, like I imagine he had some scars from war, you know. He's battle torn, you know. He didn't have no armor back then. I feel like he went like just with a skirt or something. I don't know, but he had scars probably, and he went down. He dipped in that. He had scars from the leprosy. He went down. He dipped out, and it said he come out literally with the skin of a child. God not only healed his leprosy, but look, he gave him brand new skin. I mean, he gave him more than what he even wanted. Not only did he get rid of the leprosy, man, he took care of the scars on him. He said, you look brand new. Thank goodness he had good people with good perspective around him. You know what some of us need to do? If some of us struggle with a negative perception, we need to surround ourselves with people that have a good perception. We need to quit bombarding ourselves with so much negativity in this world that tears down our perspective, because what's going to happen is he almost missed a blessing. Look at it. He left enraged. He said, I'm done. I'm leaving. And he started to walk around, and his servants went, hey, dummy. He just told you to go and be clean. He gave you the answer that you've been searching for years. If he told you to do it in a great way or a negative way, is it not that you're still going to be washed and be clean? I'm telling you, it hurts to be called dumb. But I need it. Have you ever had a bad perspective? It's okay. Have you ever been caught up in negativity? You're lying. None of y'all raised y'all's hands. We need to be honest with ourselves sometimes and go, man, I'm just having trouble getting out of my funk. I don't blame Nahum in a way. He had a rough life right here. My gosh. He was a valiant warrior, got leprosy, been cast out, had to travel from place to place, wasn't getting exactly right. He had a lot of negativity on his way. He needed somebody to look at him and go, hey, listen, I know you've had a rough week. I know you've had some rough times, but let me just help you swap your perspective. You got the answer you want. Just keep pushing through. He said, just go do it 7 times. I imagine Nahum got down there, and the first time he was like, this is going to be so dumb. He gets down there, and he's like, this water's muddy. I'm pretty sure that cow pooped up there in it. He's washing off. He does it one time, and he goes, nothing's changed. And they said, it was 7 times. 7 times. He goes back to one of the servants, they're going, I don't even know if I want to be cured now. He goes down the second time, and he's like, all right, well, one of them's looking better, but still, I got all this other stuff. And they're going, you got 5 more times, Nahum. He goes down and doing it 3rd time. I imagine about halfway through, he's going, man, my legs are completely getting look at this. It's like brand new skin. And by that 7th time when he come out, he went, woo! This stuff is brand new. I've never looked this good. They ain't no more. Remember that knife went right through my chest. Look at it, it's gone. I ain't got nothing. Man, not only did God heal me, not only did I clear, he gave me a brand new perception on this. I'm better than I was now. Man, that's how good God is. Y'all, does that not pump you up? That's what happens when we switch our perspective. When you don't switch your perspective, you miss out on blessings. If he would have walked, I believe this wholeheartedly. I think about Scripture as what it is. I believe wholeheartedly he would have walked away from that river and went, I'm not going down there because I'm not going to do it like that. I don't want to be made a fool, and it probably won't work. If he had turned and walked around, he would have died a leper. He would have died a leper. His story would have ended right there. Nothing. He would have been a leper when he died. He'd have been known as a leper and went, dude just had leprosy. Everybody talked about it. Leprosy, that's what he had. Now, you talking about Nahum? He used to be a valiant warrior. He's the dude who died from leprosy, though. But now, you imagine the story when he came back. When he came back fresh and new. He says it in verse 15. When he returned, the man of God with his company, and he came and he stood before him, he said, behold, now I know there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Man, how awesome is that? See, that's what happens when you see God for who He is. You don't see the world and go, man, look at all this is right. He goes, you know what? There's only one God that true perception comes through, and it is the God of Israel. It's the God of my that is the only true God. His perspective swapped from his situation and his leprosy and went, I'm on God's perception. And God is so good. I know I went a little bit over time. I don't have my phone today. I know it's like 12:08. I want Catherine to come back up. I know this is... I love this message for one reason. I want all of us to have a perception of who God really is. This is who God is. He is. Man, He is a God that He can swap our perceptions. He can change our lives. He can do things that we think He can't do, even when it sounds ridiculous. Even when we pray and we go, God, I need this, and God goes, all right, that's part of my vision, that's part of my will. My will is to heal you, my will is to do this. I want this to happen, but look, it's not going to go the way you want it to go. It's going to be a long haul. It's going to be tough. You got to wash 7 times, not just once, not twice, not 3 times, not just 4. You got to go all the full 7. Hang in there. I know that water's dirty. I know it's nasty. Just hang in there. Because when you come out of it, I'm going to make you the better for it. It's having faith in that perception of God going, I know God's real. I know God is true. And I know He's going to work it out for me. We'll swap our perception this morning. Let's put it on the one real God. God, as we close out this morning, God, help us to put our perspective on You. God, help us to stop getting bombarded with negativity in this world that is trying to tear it down, that is trying to just to knock us down and tell us that life isn't fair, and yes, life is just unfair to You. God, help us to take a step back and go, God, just thank You for blessing me. Help us maybe to hug our family today. Help us maybe to hug just all the little things, God, that we have taken for granted because we let so many things in this world beat us down from it. God, how blessed are we to be in Your house this morning. If nothing else, if we've got nothing else good going on this morning, God, if we've got this week was just terrible, everything was bad, God, what a blessing it was to be able to come into a house and to hear Your word preached this morning. There's so many places where we can't do this in the world, God. Help us not to take for granted that this is a place we're blessed to come together as a body of believers that come in here to want to love on each other, that want to love on You, and just be blessed for being in this house. Thank You for this place. Thank You for what You did on the cross. Ultimately, God, that is always the perception that brings me back to be so thankful. Thank You for what You did on the cross and sending Your Son. You talk about unfair. There's nothing fair about that. Thank You for Your Son. We don't deserve it, Father. We just love and we thank You for all that You do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Everyone stand. The altar's open this